What up, y'all? This is the Really Though Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, and it's your boy, CookBook. How y'all feeling, man? Today's a special show. I got a special lady coming on. Her name is Bonnie Blue, and we're celebrating because this is the very first female guest on the Really Though Podcast after 2 years of doing this, and that wasn't because I wanted it that way. It's just how it went down. Anyway, before we bring her on, man, I just wanted to talk a little bit, tell you guys what's going on with me, tell you guys what's up with your boy, the cook. The cook's been in the kitchen, working hard. I've been in the studio. As you know, this year's a big year for me. This is going to be the year where I drop an Evidence project, me, produced by Evidence, CBEP Volume 5, the final one. It's going to drop in June or July, hopefully June. We'll see how things go. My man's on tour. Shout out to Evidence, man. He's on tour right now. He'll be back. And we're going to get back in the lab and we're going to finish that up. Then after that, around September, October sometime, I'm going to drop an album, a full-length album called Jason Soto Was Here. And that, my friends, is my final album. At that point, CookBook is going to be dead. I'm going to kill him on that very record. And you think it's just talk, but you will see. CookBook will be dead. 2018. Literally murdered on his own track. Yo, CookBook got murdered on his own track, son. I don't even care, son. Jason Soto was here, and that's what you need to remember. Anyway, right now, I just want to tell you guys a little story, or a little, just what's going on with me. So, as we speak, it's Wednesday. It's March 21st, 2018. It's raining like crazy everywhere. I was out running this morning, as I do. But I've been having a lot of challenges lately. Some injuries, a lot of stuff going on in my life. Changes, some good, some not so good, etc., etc. Causes me to miss workouts, causes me to fall off maybe on my eating habits, my good eating. All of those things are against me. And I went out this morning, regardless of the rain, regardless of anything else. And I'm telling you guys, that is like my therapy. That is my meditation. I enjoy it so much, I get replenished. And while I'm on my run, I started thinking about some things that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, so here goes. On my new record, Jason Soto Was Here, that comes out at the end of the year, I have this song called Sean Bay Night. Why did I name it Sean Bay Night? Well, let me tell you about my childhood. Young Jason Soto, around the age of 8 years old. I joined the track team when I was a kid. Everybody said I was a fast little kid. Cool, man. I'm going to run track. It doesn't sound weird, seeing as you know your boy is a runner. I'm always running, and I've been running since I was a kid. On this very track team was a young man named Sean Bay Knight. Sean Bay was a little older than me, maybe a year, maybe a couple months. I don't know. I know he was older than me, but I also know he was in the same age bracket as me. How do I know this? Because he was on my same team. So every single track meet that I went to, he was running the same race as I was. And guess what? This motherfucker was fast. They said I was fast, but Sean Bay Knight was faster. He always beat me in every race. And I couldn't get away from him because he was on my team. But I never gave up. And I tried really, really hard. And I did get some first places, y'all, on the days that he missed. If he didn't show up, I knew I was getting the first place. Why? Because I was fast. And I knew that I could win. Except when my man Sean Bay Knight was there. So one day, I had been working so hard, running so hard. And we was doing, I think, the 400. Pop! The gun goes off. The children start running. I'm running my heart out. Boom, 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 boom. Me and Sean Bay Knight pull ahead. Everybody else is behind me. I don't even see him. I'm just running. My eyes are on the prize. All I do is see Sean Bay Knight. He's in front of me. All of a sudden, I start closing the gap. I start closing the distance. Boom, boom, boom. I can hear the crowd cheering. Oh my God, is this his day? Go, Jason, run, run. Boom, boom, boom. I'm running. I'm catching up to him. I get side by side with him. Here he is. He even looks over the shoulder. He sees me. He looks a little concerned. And then the concern leaves his face. And as I'm running, about to pass him, Shanbei Knight takes off and dusts me. And I lose again. Never, ever did I beat Shanbei Knight. But that day, I almost beat Shanbei Knight. And one thing that you could say about Young Cookbook, what I learned back then that I still apply to today is I kept on running. I never stopped. I never gave up. I took them second places time and time and time again to Shanbei Knight. I kept on running. I kept going for it. I kept running my races. And through it all, I got better. I was winning. I was coming in second place, y'all, most of the time. That means I was getting better. I was being challenged. I was running hard, and I kept on running. And then I began to run my own races. Even though Shanbei Knight was there, I'm going to do what my thing was. And as I've gone beyond that in my life and how you can apply that to your life is very simple. Do not give up when it's hard. Do not give up when it seems like you're losing. And no matter what race you're in, you can learn from other people. You can get better by being around other people. But ultimately, it is your race to run. It is your race to run, and you run it to the best of your ability. And at the end of the day, no matter where the chips fall, if you did your best and you got the most out of your experience, whatever that is, whether it's a business, whether it's your music career, whether it's just working out, whatever it is, then nobody can take that away from you. And you can go knowing in your heart that you did the very best you could do. I'm about to end my rapping career this year, and I can look back and say I have worked hard and I've kept on running. And I'm done when I'm finished. And it just so happens that I'm finished this year. Nobody could tell me when to get out the game. Nobody could push me out the way. Everybody got their advice. Everybody might say this, that, the other. But hip-hop's been good to me, and I've been giving back, and I will continue to give back. And I'll name that song Shanbei Knight. And the hook does go, I keep on running, because I do and I will. Beyond rap, beyond anything in my life, I'm never going to stop running. I'm never going to actually stop running. You're going to always see me posting on Instagram, out there running on the bike path, running at the beach. Like physically, I'm going to always run till the day I die or until my legs fall off, whichever comes first. But in a metaphorical sense, metaphorical, lyrical, miracle, in a metaphorical sense, I'm going to keep on running. And I'm asking you guys to do the same. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up when it seems like you're losing to other people. Don't stop trying when it seems like it's not being fruitful. Just adjust. Learn how to get better. Learn from others. Learn when you see somebody doing something that you want to do and they're succeeding at it, find out what they're doing to do what they're doing and go do that. That's what they say. Successful people, they just get around the people that are doing what they want and are getting what they want to get, and they find out what they do and they do that too. I'm encouraging you guys to do that too. Anyway, let's keep it moving, man. Albums are dropping. I'm going to have more announcements of a huge, huge thing I'm going to be doing at the end of the summer. I'm not ready to announce that yet. Maybe the next episode 3 of season 2, Really Though podcast. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any announcement that's coming. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you subscribe to. Make sure you leave comments, rate us so that people can find out about Really Though podcast and about this solid ass knowledge I be dropping every day. Really though. And it really does help. And share on your social media. Let people know about the show. Shout out to Platform Collection. Shout out to all the other podcasts. I've been talking too much. And we got a long interview today. Me and Bonnie Blue really break down a lot of stuff. We get into future visioning and about looking towards what you want to achieve. We get into talking about songwriting, insecurities about our art and how we deal with it. We get into a lot of really good topics. She's lived a lot in her short life, and she's got a lot of wisdom to share, and we actually get in some good coaching moments. Different things happen throughout the interview, so make sure you stick around, and stick around to the end, because I drop a major bomb, an exclusive. I tell a story about me and something that happened with a high profile celebrity. That's all I'm going to say. You got to listen to the end. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my interview with the one and only, lovely and talented Bonnie Blue.
Melodies, man.
Do you? Have you been singing other stuff?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Oh, shit. I wish I could. You know what? The producers that I've been working with.
You're working with whack producers. You're not working with CookBook.
Well, I'm not working with whack producers, but you're right.
You're like, there's something in there I need to clean up first before we go on.
Yeah, they're like hitting me up, to hear some shit, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not like.
Oh, like they send you the beats and you haven't recorded to them yet? Well,
I have, but I'm just not ready to like let anybody hear it. It's like I'm a little stuck in that phase of like, this is my little world, and
yeah,
I write this shit alone, I record it alone, like this is my little fucking shit. But
well, let me intro, and then let's go back to that. We might as well start there. All right.
Since you've been gone.
I told you what I was gonna do from the very start. I'm coming through to take your love and break your heart, but give you love and give you faith. I do things in different ways, evolve over time and embrace change. I did it all before, seen it at the liquor store. 40 ounce to freedom, but I wanted something more, cause I've been drinking all night. No bugs in my bed, so I sleep tight. So the possibilities are endless in my dreams, and when I'm penless, I can still pencil you in with my number 2 friend. Say goodbye to yesterday and write about the good times, cause we got one life to live, man. I'm just saying, what's the plan? Cause now that you're not here, I travel all over this land just to see my purpose manifest itself. I'm worth it and I'm working for that reason in itself. It's bigger than I could ever see, but since you've been gone, I seem to have been set free. I seem to have been set free. I seem to have been set free. I seem to have been set free from the mentality that I couldn't be what I want to be, an MC with a story to tell that can tell it so well, so well. I told you what I was gonna do from the very start. I'm coming through to take your love and break your heart, but give you love and give you faith. I do things in different ways, evolve over time and embrace change. I did it all before, seen it at the liquor store. 40 ounce to freedom, but I wanted something more, cause I've been drinking all night. No bugs in my bed, so I sleep tight. No chips on my shoulder anymore, and no monkey on my back. So no living in the past, and no secrets, only facts. No more reasons to be mad, only happy and persistent. Everything can change in an instant, and I know that you've been listening from a distance, but who isn't? I've been trapped inside this prison, and I'm wishing my intentions weren't as wicked as the mentions that I'm getting, and the bars that I've been getting up. Since you've been gone, I can't seem to get enough.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of season 2 of Really Though with your homeboy CookBook. Now listen, today in the house we got my homegirl Bonnie Blue. I'm gonna tell you something, Bonnie. You can say what's up. Say what's up.
What's up?
Okay, today is a very, very special day. Okay,
am I your first female artist?
Well, you just took reason number 1.
Oh,
and
sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Reason number 1 is because you are officially my very first female guest on the podcast.
Well, thank you.
That's awesome.
And
now,
fuck you at the same time.
I know, right? Like, hashtag me too, asshole. Sorry, man. Listen, it is not from not trying.
Yeah.
Like, I had a few females lined up, and things it wasn't like they didn't want to do it or like, fuck CookBook, he's an asshole. It wasn't that. It just kind of fell through. So it's very special that you're here, and actually it's better that you're the first one. And you want to know why?
I would love to know why.
Because first of all, I was introduced to you through Madison Johnson.
Yes.
Okay. And I was also introduced to the podcast world through Medicine Johnson, who took me with him to be a guest on a little show called Crappy Awesome.
That's right.
And one of the co-hosts of that podcast was none other than the lovely and talented Bonnie Blue.
That's right.
So I met you on my very first podcast experience.
That's amazing.
So it's completely and totally fitting that you're my first guest.
We have come full circle.
Yes, my first female guest, I should say.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
got a lot of testosterone up in here. If you know what I'm talking. Ladies, take a break. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about.
I know all about that. I co-hosted Crappy Awesome with 2 men.
I know. Now, for today's show, fellas, take a break.
Take a seat,
ladies.
motherfuckers.
You know what we're talking about. Hashtag me too.
Oh,
Bonnie
Jesus.
Blue's in the house.
Can we not
We're gonna
use
get
that
lyrical.
hashtag?
We're going to get political. It's going to get crazy.
I like crazy.
So let's start with your music. So right before we started, we were talking about music and the writing process. I liked what you were describing, and that's why I stopped you, actually, and said, stop talking. But before we do that, I want you to notice I came completely cripped out today.
You
in
do
honor
have
of Bonnie Blue. I got all blue on.
Well, except for the red C on your hat,
That's
which is
for
a little
That's for crip. And I turned on blue lights in the studio.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? In honor of the lovely and talented Bonnie Blue. Me too.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. That's not...
Did you know that your name rhymes with me too? I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. It could be some inspiration.
I absolutely know that it rhymes with that. It also rhymes with, how are you?
I
used to have a colleague. Oh, I worked at a winery, and the winemaker would always come up to me. He was a very animated character, and he would always walk through the hall and just walk up to me and be like, Bonnie Blue, how are you?
Well, you know what? Let's get to that. How did you come up with your name? Is that just your real name?
That is my real name, yeah.
That's fucking awesome, bro. That is awesome.
It's funny, and it's cool that it's awesome now. I hated it my entire life.
It's awesome because it's like a great rap name. It sounds like Lady Gaga, Bonnie Blue, like perfect.
That's
it's
awesome.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
I mean?
Yeah.
Cher,
when I first came,
Madonna, Bonnie Blue, Ashley Simpson.
So there is. Oh dear. There are other like artists. There totally is a stripper named Bonnie Blue. There's other
of course there is.
like
no disrespect, but of course there is. And you're like, my name is Bonnie Blue, and that stripper's like, hashtag me too.
No, but I totally grew up like hating my name for some reason.
Well,
the blue part, the funny part is that like I hated the blue part. I always loved the name Bonnie because I just always was like into gangster shit and Bonnie and Clyde. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm Bonnie. But the Bonnie Blue, like I never really went by Bonnie Blue until I started getting out there as an artist.
No, that's dope. That's dope. Bonnie Blue, how are you? So it's not just a clever rap name, man. There's no story behind it.
I wish I had a clever rap name.
We was cripping when I was a kid. And the homies from the set were like, you better go out and rep us if you're going to rap. And you're like, all right, I got the perfect.
Not at all.
No problem, fam. No problem, fam. Say no more, fam. I got the perfect name.
I got you, fam. No, it was definitely nothing like that.
Dang. Oh, well, I got a story about a name. It's funny. I was just thinking about this today. When I was a really, really little kid and I first started skateboarding, right? We were just hood skaters, skating all around like these gang-infested neighborhoods. And so there was a lot of graffiti artists and these dudes. And there was older dudes, like these older guys. There was this one dude, he was so cool. And he used to tag Gumby. And he used to, like, he would paint, like, he had, like, the Gumby haircut, and he would paint, like, little Gumby characters. And he was dope. He was the coolest dude ever. And one of the things that, like, was cool about him was he... we were all hip hop and but I liked a lot of other music. Like I grew up, my brother and sister showed me like classic rock and my parents. So I liked all this. I used to like
me too
80s music, all this stuff, right? And I remember we were at like a friend of ours' house and Derek's coming. He's like, Gumby's coming over. Like I remember we were watching a video. I think it was like Depeche Mode or some shit like that. This fool knew every word. And I thought he was the coolest epitome of hip hop. And he was singing like pop music and everything. And I was like,
go.
I can like it. He likes it. Well, anyway, his tag was Gumby. His real name was Derek Gumbis. Come on.
There you go.
Come on.
That's
my
clever.
Name. That's my name story. So anyway, let's talk about your music. So you're recording new music right now.
Yes.
And you were talking about your recording process and your producers.
Yes.
Tell us what's up.
So I have 3 projects that I'm working on with 3 different producers. It's basically like
Ambition, anyone?
Well, it's not albums, it's EPs. It's like 5 to 7 tracks with each producer. And I was just saying, like, they're, we were talking about letting each other hear some exclusiveness. Right. And I was like, fuck, I wish I was in a place to do that, because I'm just not. I'm really close because I just want to get the music out already. I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting there, but I'm not ready for anybody to hear it. It's like I've been in my own little world. Yeah. And, like I said, the producers are hitting me up like, hey, are you going to send me like something to hear? Like, are you actually, do you rap? They're like, do you rap? Or they're like, are you still alive?
Right?
Like,
I saw you, right? That was you rapping,
just, like,
right?
Ghosted everywhere and stuff. I definitely, everyone's like, where did all your pictures on Instagram go? And just wondering, like, where the fuck? Yeah. I got like a while. All of them.
How long does it even take to do that?
It took a minute because you got, Well, I like cleaned it up about a year ago. So I only had like maybe 300 pictures on there, but you do have to, as far as I know, you have to delete them one by one. Ugh. But I just got like a wild hair up my ass and was like, you know what? Fuck, like, I don't know. Just like fuck the past. I'm ready to just like go forward and start something fresh and create some new stories. And
I can respect that. I mean, and you don't want to get rid of all your people. Like, you could just end that account and start a new one. But then,
that's true. But
then you lose all your people.
Yeah. I've definitely lost some people because I stopped posting shit.
Well, yeah, that happens.
They never fucked with me to begin with.
That's real, man. Maybe I need to clean up my shit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of pictures, I'm getting rid of some of you people out there following me, lurking. You don't even comment.
I know, right?
Sorry.
Social media is a crazy world.
Yeah, I can relate to what you're saying, though, as far as like, so I have 2 more projects that I'm putting out. I'm putting out a project with Evidence, which I definitely don't do by myself. I'm in the studio with him. That's going to come out around June, July, right? Then I'm putting out my final record this year. At the end of the year. Final.
What?
And it's
how do you? Okay.
Let's talk about it.
How do you do that? Like, what in your mind makes you feel okay with that? I guess is really the question.
So I heard a guy talking. And he said, so many people have a great vision for the beginning, but they never have a good vision for the ending. Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
How do you end this
Tony
thing?
Robbins?
Like, whatever it is. Somebody like that. Okay. I'm sure. I don't think it was Tony Robbins, but probably it could have been.
I just watched something with him talking about like how business owners don't ever like, or a lot of them don't think it through to be able to sell the business eventually, right, and like make money off of it without you working there. Exactly. So it was kind of the same idea where,
well, yeah. And I think like, so I have so many things, like even from the first time you met me when you guys were like, you should have your own podcast, because of like the experience and the things that I have. Even since that time that I was on that podcast, I started coaching and consulting other artists, doing other things. I want to write a book. I want to cut I have different documentary ideas, so different things. So I feel like it may be time for me to transition into that area. Now, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll Black Album the fuck out of that album if, like, look, if the people want it, I'm going to keep giving it to them. Right. And, I mean, I've been really lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it, to have a great career in LA Symphony and outside of it. I mean, I've done a ton of shit, made a ton of money, made a ton of friends, industry friends, fans, etc. You know what I mean? I've done it all. I've been literally around the world multiple times, done it all. So like, at what point do you go like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to be, which I may be already getting there, that like rapper that's been around just too long and like, oh, that dude, he's still putting records out. Like, I don't want that. I want to be like a shooting star that just feel like, boom, it's gone, supernova. And then like he went out with a bang. He went out on his own terms. But having said all of that, like So the way I've been recording this album is, again, very by myself too. So when you were talking about that, I really relate to that. And I haven't played roughs for a lot of people. Not a lot. And I said this on Instagram yesterday, but like I was in the studio this weekend. I went Saturday and Sunday, both days, 6 a.m. because I just wanted to get extra work done. I was like, where in my day could I do it? And I was like, well, nobody's going to be there, you know. Shout out to East of the River. They've been letting me use their studio.
Dope.
And I knew nobody'd be there at 6 a.m., although I kicked Zay out the studio on Sunday morning. Her and a man was up in there, and I was like, oh, my bad. And she's like, oh, no, we're leaving. I was like,
you're like, I got work to do.
But so yesterday I recorded a song which will end up, I already know, will be the first song on the album. And I started crying.
That's
and I was
incredible.
Like, whoa. Because it's weird, like...
Is that rare for you?
No, I'll cry on I cry in movies. I cry in everything.
I mean, but doing your own stuff.
Yeah, that's rare. Yeah, that's definitely rare. So, but what it is so for... since I've been having computer problems, I haven't been like writing this record the same way I normally write a record.
Mm-hmm.
I'll like write a song, record, and keep moving. I just had all these beats in my Dropbox and no computer. So all I've been doing is writing. And what I found, I start like almost jumping from song to song, and like the whole like concept of the album starts to appear in my brain and this and the other. So I already know the first song, I already know the last song, I know the second to last song, and then I'm gonna leave some room to choose the best ones, but I do know some like for sure points and what I wanted to do. And Cookbook's gonna die at the end of the album. There's a song that he gets killed in, and then we'll see what happens after that.
We'll see what the future holds. The afterlife.
We're going to get into the afterlife. But so the first song, so I recorded the hook and the first verse to the last song. And then I skipped to the first song. The first song is called The Birth. And it's all like grown up shit, like born. This is how I grew up. And then like I got halfway through the second verse and I was like, oh shit, what is this feeling I'm feeling? And like all of a sudden I was like, holy crap, I'm crying. Like, but I have been kind of feeling that thing, like I've fully accepted that this is my last album, but with every song that I record, it's that much closer to me not being the artist, doing show like so it is a trippy feeling. I'll probably cry a few more times. I might even cry at live shows. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm gonna throw a release party. I'm gonna like really do it big. I was thinking about, instead of calling like doing a tour, instead of calling it like maybe like the shows would be like my funeral, like funerals or something. Like, come to the wake.
That'd be sick.
Come to my wake in Phoenix. Come to my wake in fucking Minnesota or whatever. Like,
see, you're clever like that.
I'm trying to be.
Just riffing on ideas like
I'm
that.
I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't mean to, but the whole point was, I know that like intimacy. It's like. Your little creations.
Especially, I mean, it's been 4 years since I released an album. It's really been.
Well, we need to get to it then, Bonnie Blue.
No,
it
feels like even a couple. It feels like I haven't even really been doing anything for a couple of years. So to be like back, and I've just been writing. I've had the beats. I haven't had a recording studio in a few years. Like, I can't. I'm not the type of person that can just go into any studio and record with anybody. Most of the time I prefer to record myself alone.
I feel that.
If I'm recording with another engineer, I don't like to have anybody else around, and I usually have to have like a pretty solid foundation and relationship with anyone that I'm recording with, because I feel energies, and a lot of times anytime that I've been in a studio with someone that I didn't have like a working relationship with already, I just feel hella judged, and I can't like deal with it. I can't like I think one of my greatest like strengths is my ability to be vulnerable when I create, and when I like let shit out through words in my music, and I'm really not able to do that ever unless I'm alone, or like I said, I'm with someone that I totally have like a solid foundation with already. Just even more so as like on a human connection level, not even like we've worked on music together, but if we're like cool and me as a person, that I'll be comfortable with you recording me, because I know you're not like, I don't know.
No,
you're just not judging me in that way where you're like, oh, I don't know. People are just fucking different, work different ways, and
some fools want to turn up in the studio with like 40 dudes. That's not me either, though. Like I said, I'm going in at 6 o'clock because I know I could be all alone.
Yeah.
And like one thing too is like, so there's certain times like I sing a lot on my shit, right? And I know what it takes for me to get the right takes, right? And sometimes it takes a lot of bad takes to get to the right ones, to get the voice warm or whatever. Right. And I definitely want to be alone because if I feel like people are there,
it throws your
you can't just get it all out. You know, like you guys can hear it later. Like once I've like got the all the tracks done and I've got it mixed the way I want it to sound for people to hear, even if it's not mixed. I can mix it to the point where I know where I feel I can present it to some people and get feedback. Yeah. But before that, I don't see myself like, hey man, I need to sing this hook, dog. Press record. Hey, like it's just so like to me, because I'm not like extra singer, man. Like I grew up singing. I can sing. Yeah. But like
you can.
I'm not going out there like with a, you know what I mean? Like fools don't know me. I'm not piano
like
bars.
Whitney
like
Houston.
Hold me closer, tiny Dan. Like I'm not doing that, right?
Right. You have your own. I'm the same way. Like I'm certainly not someone that's out there like fucking belting high notes
like
and
Elton,
shit.
right?
You know,
not doing that.
But I have, but that's the thing. Like everybody has a voice and everybody has their own way, their own sound. Yeah. Everybody can sing, but it is that comfort level and it's the ability to be vulnerable when you find the pocket, I guess. Yeah.
And sometimes like like what you're hearing in headphones, and if dude's just sitting on this couch right here and it sounds like you're fucking screaming like, they're trying to get some out. Like,
I mean, I've had plenty of experiences where like I'm working on shit, there's other people in the studio, I'm like in the room, there's glass, I can't hear them but I can see them laughing, and they're totally
just
not
talking with their own shit.
They don't give a shit about what I'm doing, but just like seeing that over there is like, fuck, it throws you off. It's like, oh, I don't want to.
It's so weird because
what are they talking about? Like
doing music, performing live, it's such a like, we're such a like public thing that we do.
And it's so weird because I don't feel that way at all when I'm performing live. I do not give a fuck what you're doing or what you're thinking when I'm performing live. It's just my studio time is like totally different. Unless, you know what the weird part is? And well, maybe it's not weird, but I'm more uncomfortable around people that I know, like performing.
Really?
Like my family, I fucking hate
I don't really like that. Like my parents used to come to my shows and she's like, why you just...
I mean, I love
them, yeah, and it was cool. Like all my homies would be like, damn, your parents are cool, dog. You're right in the front row.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's tight.
I totally love that. My mom has been to a few shows like over the last year or so, and I do love like bringing her to the show just to kind of give her a little bit of a taste of like what that experience is for me, and most of the time it's been really positive, so it's like to her it's like really cool, but it's still just like it's different with my family or even like my friends that don't do music. Like, sometimes it's like I think like, oh, that would be cool if like all my friends came to a show, and then they come and it's like it's just not their vibe. So they're not like,
friends suck. When it comes to this music shit, like 90% of your friends fucking suck. And you know why? Because they don't. They're such, hey dog, we support your ass. No,
they're
you
not
don't.
In the world.
No, you don't.
Right. I mean,
they almost never come. They almost never come.
They don't, and they're not the first ones like to be buying your shit if you're putting it out. They're not like trying to promote you like that. But I understand.
Some do.
If you don't like, I don't ever want to like force someone. I would never like really even ask my friends or family to like do anything like that.
Yeah.
Like,
it is super weird.
If you feel it and that like you have that love and it's your vibe, then that's really cool. But I know that's just part of what I like understand being an artist. Like some people really, really love what I do, and some people it's just not their vibe. They're not trying to hear it. Whatever tone of voice I have, they don't fuck with, or what I'm talking about is maybe too much or fucking whatever the vibe is.
You're too real for him, Bonnie Blue. That's why you don't even have a rap name. You're like, I'm so real. My name is Bonnie Blue. You're too real for him. Really though? Really though. So I want to ask you about something. So earlier you said that you hadn't really been doing anything for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Kind of want to get into why.
Okay.
And to bounce that off of you asking me the question about like deciding when to end and deciding like how I'm doing this. So put those two thoughts together. Yeah. Mix them up like a wonderful shake of bananas and ice cream. We're gonna play which Yahtzee tastes delicious.
And roll the dice.
And talk to me a little bit about like if you were kind of future visioning right here. Like, so what, you haven't been doing anything for a few years. You've got 3 EPs coming up. Like, what do you see as your plans, or where do you want to go? Let's say for this year or the coming few years, whatever you feel.
Okay, so like musically, it's funny that you say like this is going to be my last album, because I definitely went through a period after releasing my first album where I was like, that's it. Like I'm not trying to do music. I don't like, that's not. I saw myself doing a bunch of other things, just like you. You have other ideas. I was doing the podcast. I was shooting other people, doing photography, and all of these other things, which I think will always just be a part of like the world that I create for myself and different things that I have interest in. But after the first album, I kind of like immediately after the first album came out, I went through some shit with personally and like with people that I was working with that just totally turned me off to the entire thing, you know.
It'll happen.
I was like, fuck all this, like I'm out, like fuck all this. I released an album. I've never really like in my life thought that was ever gonna happen, and I was really like proud for the most part of that. And so I was like, fuck it, I did it, like that's cool. I want to do a bunch of other things now, so I'm just kind of done with that. But then as like time went on, and I really am a writer at heart. Like I love to write. It's therapeutic for me. I've written all my life. That's like my main shit that is really a part of my life no matter what, is the writing. And I just had like, I went to Arizona at the end of 2014. I released the album at the beginning of 2014. So by the end of 2014, my life was kind of just like somewhat, I think from like 2013 into 2014, my life was already spiraling out of control because of a lot of different things that was going on in my personal life. I lost my job in 2013, and I just kind of went all into rapping. I was like, you know, my life was completely different. Like the first half of my 20s, I was completely stable, totally had a career. I had everything, a car, my place, and everything. And then I lost my job. I put all my shit in storage. I fucking let my car get repoed. I had just bought a brand new car. Like, I let my storage unit get fucking auctioned off. I got kicked out of my place.
On Storage Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
They found the fucking Bonnie Blue books.
Oh, no. They're like, this can't be her real name.
I fucking basically let everything go. And, you know, at that point, I had everything going on with the music, and I was doing a lot of shows, and then I started doing the podcast. So all of these things were happening and made me feel like cool. I'm doing things. I'm like developing ideas and plans in my head about a future, but I didn't really realize until like the end of 2014, or maybe really well into 2015, that I was kind of just like completely running away from my personal life. Everything that was happening is obviously my real life. But like when you're just an artist in the artist community, and like you're just doing shows and you're just kind of living in that world, you know, sometimes you get caught up in that and you kind of forget like, oh yeah, I have a whole fucking life that I've just been like completely like neglecting and ignoring and shit like that. So it kind of like, it started to dawn on me, you know, maybe a few years ago now, that like, oh shit, I've just been like running from all this shit and all of these things that are happening. Like I said, after I released the album, I went through some shit with the people that I was working with, and then I just kind of continued to go through shit with all of the people that I thought I was like working and building things with. And ultimately it really made me look at myself, and I was just like, why is all this going to shit? You know, like I obviously don't have my shit together in the way that like I did before I was doing all of this. And you know, it was just like a completely different way of life for me, and I absolutely loved it. And, you know, through that, I really think that, like, because I was doing that, hip hop at that time, like, really saved my life, because it was the only thing that I was living for. The only thing that I was living for was getting to the next show, or getting into the next studio session, or the next collaboration, or whatever it was. So I, you know, that was really, like, positive. But on the other end, I kind of got lost in that world without even having... At a certain point, it was like, now I look back and I'm like, I didn't even really have goals. Like, I was just doing it. Everything was coming to me. I wasn't, like, in control of it. Everything was just happening, and I'm blessed for that. Like, it really, like, me as an artist kind of took on a life of its own, and I got to, like, experience a lot of really cool shit because of that, you know, and that'll always be a part of my life and my experience. And I, you know, I would never take that back. But ultimately, I kind of just had to, like, go into hibernation and kind of, like, fucking figure out, first of all, if I really even wanted to do music, which I always still, even now, I continue to struggle with. But I'm, like I said, I'm really close to, like, finishing up some projects. So I'm like, I'm there now where I'm like, okay, cool, I can do this. Before you go in, it was like, because it had been such a long time, going back into the studio, having written songs but not been in a studio for a couple years, it was pretty difficult for me to go back in. And honestly, for like a year, we're in 2018 now, so I would say like 2016, I started getting back in the studio and kind of trying to work on a project. But it was like pulling teeth. Like, I had to go through this experience all over again of, like, hating the sound of my voice, hating the way that I was delivering everything, and just not even fucking with myself in hearing what I was doing. And so going through that, I just was like, fuck, like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, I'm miserable doing this. Like, I love to rock live shows. I love my fans. I love that I'm able to, like, you know, create stories and create experiences and inspire people. Like, I love all of that. But fucking getting in the studio and having to, like, work through all of my fucking inner demons and my insecurities is like the worst part to me. Like, I've never enjoyed that part, and I don't know that I ever will.
Well, you know, every artist, if you ask every artist, like, everybody always has favorite parts to what they do. You know what I mean? Some people hate the stage. They hate the live part. They know it's a necessary evil, quote unquote. And some people hate the studio. Some people hate the writing process or whatever. But there obviously is something that drives us as artists that keeps us doing it. I think you touched on a couple of things though in there. You mentioned, like, really just kind of not being in control of your own life. You also mentioned not having any goals. And I think, like, one of the most important things we can do is set clear, you know, concise goals for ourselves. But before we do that, we have to ask ourselves, what do I want? You know what I mean? And spend a little time with that. And I feel like that's sort of what you're telling me that you went through, and you may even still be going through it to a degree.
I was gonna get to that. Like, I'm totally, you know, you asking me, like, what do you see going forward? Like, I'm still definitely in that place where I'm figuring that out. Like, I have.
Well, I think it's important to figure that out, because what happens is, like, you know, you have to have a strong why for anything that you do. Like, if your why doesn't make you cry, then you need a new why. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't get emotionally charged up, and the why isn't just the beat and the raps and the this and that, it's like beyond that. Like, is there sort of a cause that you're connected to? Are you trying to speak for women? Or are you trying to do something for your family? Or is it something personal to you? But there has to be something, so that when you're in the studio and you hate the recording and you hate what you're doing, you can go back to that why and say, this is why I'm doing it. So fuck that, press record.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
If we don't have those things, if we don't attach emotion to every single goal that we have in life, we will quit.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes we, for some reason don't, but like almost always people quit because they don't do things on purpose. And then when they do finally decide something on purpose, they don't even know why they're doing it. Like they haven't really dug down deep into that thing inside of them. And we all do it. We all do it. I've quit tons of stuff because I didn't understand why am I really doing this? What's the real reason? What does this mean to me? And, through that, you start to really self-identify too. And well, if your why is because of something with your family, then that says something about you. And then you start learning about yourself. And then it becomes a journey of self-reflection. You start to be self-aware.
Right.
And you start to know yourself. You say, oh, I know why I hate the studio and I hate my voice. It's because of XYZ. And when you know that, then it springs back and it helps you overcome that. And it press record, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Press
I'm in
record.
This. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
and
all those things.
It's certain things too where you're just kind of feeling good about it. Like I definitely have times where I go into the studio and I'm like, fuck yes. I'm so like I'm there. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. But it's pretty rare. Most of the time I'm like, fuck this. But I think I've come to realize that I'm just a little a tickophobia. I think it's a little bit of that. It's the fear of failure of like, which is so weird because I feel a lot of times like I'm not afraid of failure. I've failed a lot. And I've also reached levels of success in different areas of my life that I never really aspired to. Just kind of through just like hard work or whatever made things happen. But I don't know. I go through there's a lot of different things I think that contribute to me feeling like fuck this or sometimes I wonder like is this just for me, because it is therapeutic for me to write and it is therapeutic for me to go through that experience of being in the studio and fucking hating myself and ultimately like creating something that someone else might love or someone else might gain something from it. And I think that's probably why I do it a little bit.
Well, yeah. I agree with the idea of the possibility of helping other people, even if just the song brings them joy or they nodded their head and it made their day better.
Yeah.
That is something that is important. And I do think that there's something really beneficial to putting yourself in positions of discomfort too. Totally. Because, comfort zone is death, right?
Totally. I just was thinking about that the other day because when I was on Crappy Awesome, actually, like, I was homeless. I was like living out of a suitcase, like every aspect of my life. Like I was uncomfortable everywhere. I should have been, but I was just like, we would talk about the fact that like my comfort zone was being uncomfortable and I was just kind of doing whatever and I would do anything. Right. And I think what happened over the last few years is I became comfortable and actually just being comfortable and making money and like not really thinking about what I was doing with creatively with whatever ideas I had in my head, because I'll sit and stew and have a million fucking ideas, but like there's so many that I haven't brought to life yet.
I think there's nothing wrong with anything that you do, whether you're just making money at a job or you're creating or you're putting your ass on the line for something big or whatever, like shooting for the stars. Yeah. As long as you've connected to your why and you've connected to that part on the inside of you that you're saying like, no, I know why I'm doing this and this is exactly what I want to be doing at this time. You know what I mean? Like, and even if like, you're maybe if that thing is just a hobby or just something in your life that's not the main contributor to your bills or whatever, as long as there's some sort of a rudder in the water that's guiding you to where you want to go, then the jobs can come and go, this can come and go, but your ultimate goals have to be there. They have to be. And this is not just you. This is like all of us. We all need to consistently like set our goals, read and review them. What do I want? I'm gonna read that every day. What I wrote down on a paper, and let it get deep within me. Let me feel the emotions of it, and then go do my day. And how can I do one more thing towards this goal today, or whatever? Like those types of things. Like,
right.
If we don't do that on purpose, then we end up, life will do it for us.
Yeah,
totally. What I mean? If we
that's
don't
kind of
think
like,
on purpose,
right? That's really like the story of like my life. Really, growing up, I think when I was young, I just always had aspirations to be a performing artist. Like,
right.
I totally always thought that that's what I was going to do. And then I wanted to be a businesswoman because I saw my mother and my grandmother be businesswomen. So like I had those two like loose ideas of like, what the fuck is a businesswoman? Like, that's,
sounds tight.
I just want to be that. But growing up and going into like my teens for sure, and then my 20s, I wasn't goal oriented. It was like survival mode. Like, now in retrospect, it's like, holy shit, I was literally just like trying to figure out how to survive for the longest time. And I made some really amazing things happen in my life. I built a career and I made a bunch of money, and in a way that I never thought I would. So, but even through that, like I didn't, so I ended up having a pretty like lucrative career in the corporate world, and I never like really aspired for that. I think at a certain point in my teens and then going into my 20s, I was just like, I just want to make as much money as possible. And that was like my end game. I just want to make a fuck ton of money. Right. And ultimately that's what I did, but it wasn't like tied to anything. It wasn't like I want a career in the entertainment industry because that's what it is. It just ended up, I just got fucking lucky. I got a job and I ended up like working my way up the corporate ladder.
That's so interesting to me. Why? Because from me, the time that I've known you, I would never think
totally
that you were like a corporate person.
Totally different.
That's
well, that is.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that's very interesting to me because I don't know that about you. You know what I mean? Like,
it's very different. And I've had like different moment, and I have a lot of friends that I've known for years, like 10 plus years. And there's a lot of people that know me for a lot of different things. And it's kind of, sometimes I find it hard to like figure out my identity because of that, because I have been a lot of different people in a lot of different people's lives in a lot of different ways, and sometimes that's difficult, especially like continuing to grow and getting older and continuing to do all these different things. It's like, it's weird because it's like I know that people are looking at me like, this bitch just, especially people close to me, because it's like I did have this like career in the corporate.
Like, your mom be like, this bitch. No,
that's funny. That's what I was thinking. Like my mom and my sisters, I think when I first started rapping, I think they were like, this bitch just fucking like left her like,
so did you
good career in the corporate world and started rapping? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Wait, were you not rapping before? Like, you started rapping after your career, like in your mid-20s?
Yeah.
Wow.
25.
Wow. Like dead mid-20, like in the bullseye middle.
Yeah. So
like,
I started.
Fuck the corporate ladder. I'm about to burn it down. I'm about to go to fucking Low End Theory and fucking the airliner. Start rapping downstairs on that little ass stage at the airliner, trying to get my raps
best
off.
solo female MC. No, I'm just kidding. I did, but it's cool.
You should.
No, it was completely fucking random. But yes, I started doing shows about like 10 months before I lost my job. And so
let me ask you this. You starting to do music, do you think that contributed to you losing your job? Maybe? Like, was your head in another place? Music? Like, you're thinking about music, you're kind of...
I think that,
I don't know, maybe not. I'm just asking.
I don't think that really... That really did, because even at that time, I still wasn't looking at music. Like for me in the beginning, it was like, holy shit, this is just like this amazing release for me.
Okay.
I definitely was starting to see like, oh shit, like you could actually like do something with this and like I could actually like build a career with this. But I wasn't like sold on that idea. I've always been like a little on the fence about music probably because of the experience that I have in the studio where it's like I don't fuck with my own music. I don't like the way my voice sounds. Like
I don't fuck with me.
Fuck with me that
I really
much.
like Outkast and like fucking Gangster, but I don't fuck with me at all.
Like I know I'm dope, but like I don't, I'm not sitting there like fucking with myself like that. I don't, but I know that I'm capable of creating things that other people fuck with. I know that I'm. No,
I mean you're a very good artist. You're really dope, and your live show is dope. What I find interesting about you, and don't take this in any disrespectful way, because I don't see it as that. To me, you've always been a very like free flowing person. Like like when I first met you was right before you bounced to Phoenix, right? And then it just seemed like you were on this journey that like I can respect people that can do that because I've never really been that guy. And I think like I've been able to reach a lot of levels of success. I've never been afraid to travel or do whatever, but like I've never lived anywhere outside of LA, which is fine. I don't have to, but I know that there's something on the inside of me that like wishes I was a little like freer like that. So to me, that's a plus, and that's an interesting thing about you, and part of, I would say, your appeal. And people can feel that from the music, but it seems like from your perspective, you're a little like, no, I feel a little loosey-goosey here. Like, I kind of need to tighten shit up.
Wherever I go, I remember home. Wherever I roam, I reminisce. Wherever I go, I remember home. Wherever I roam, I reminisce.
My mother was a single mother struggling. My father was in Florida, drug smuggling. Mistress of a king, land of the free. Bastard child, what was me? Never did I really know that this life would bring such beautiful things. I've been reminiscing like that Dilla track. Without a pot to piss and I ain't feeling that. But I've seen the hustle, I've seen the struggle, I've seen the contrast. It made me take a double take. How you gonna be a millionaire and let your daughter live in poverty? For goodness sake, these are high stakes, where's your soul? They lack familiar, has a different meaning as a whole. I love my mom because she sang the blues so beautifully and introduced me to ideas that were new to me. Like I could be whatever, and I could touch the sky, roll with the wind and sing in the night now.
Wherever I go, I remember home. Wherever I roam, I reminisce. Wherever I go, I remember home. Wherever I roam, I reminisce.
The furthest I could go, let's just say kindergarten. Cursing during class, teacher said, beg your pardon. I replied with a sorry and kept it getting straight A's. Never knew the girl across from me would be my lady. Couldn't appreciate K-Day because they took it off the air. In the 90s, they got 92.3, the beat was there. While it's Power 106, some deep house up in the mix. Way before the first time I took a marijuana hit. But everyone ages, so now we flipping the pages to a juvenile delinquent, man, this shit is outrageous. Now I'm sipping and blazing while bumping different arrangements. From just some high definition to DJ Quick or some J-Lit. High school drunk and full, on probation all 4 years. Now the age of 24, be like pour me 4 more beers. Like to make a toast to every element I represent. It's hip-hop, it's life, now let us reminisce.
Wherever I go, I remember home. Wherever I roam, I reminisce. Wherever I go, I remember home. Wherever I roam, I reminisce.
So it's funny because that's totally how I definitely have always had a spontaneous side and certainly like free spirit kind of thing going on. Mm-hmm. But from my teens into really until I was 25 and I left that job, I was working 2 to 3 jobs. I went to college. Yeah. I was just like on the grind, just making like money opposite. And like total tight. Opposite. Like I can't just fucking be homeless and like be just wandering around, but. And
then eventually you were homeless and you were wandering around.
Yeah. Like I just totally, I went into that, but like I was saying earlier, it's like I was totally running from a lot of things that happened in my life. I think one of the biggest things, shit, I'm about to cry.
Go ahead, cry. I'd love that. The first female guest, and she cries.
God damn it.
It will be the first female guest and the first person to cry on my podcast.
No, okay.
Please cry.
I had a really amazing mentor at the corporate job that I had, and I would have never reached the peaks of success that I did had it not been for her influence in my life and her influence on really other people within the company in really just believing in how capable I was of doing a lot of different shit that I ended up doing. And she passed away. And that really changed a lot, I think. That affected me more than anything, and I think that's partly why I continue to do the music.
I'm just kidding.
I started roaming the
I just
earth.
walked out of the office and I never looked back. Next thing I knew, I was in Istanbul. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I don't mean to belittle that, because I actually, in high school, had somewhat of a mentor type person as well to die on me.
Yeah.
And I actually literally found his body. That's another story. So it's very impactful.
Yeah.
And I understand that too.
Yeah.
And mentors, they shouldn't be, but they can tend to be hard to come by.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And
have not.
They're so vital. They're so vital
absolutely.
in the success of people. Is, that passing down of the knowledge and the mantle and stuff. So I can understand why that would have affected you.
I mean,
in a
on
great
top
way.
of that, like coupled with that, really, my mother has always most certainly been my biggest mentor throughout my life. She's one of my best friends and always has been, but she was really sick during that time too, and it just all of this shit happened, and I was just like, okay, chapter closed. Like, I just lost my fucking job. I'm just gonna say fuck all of this. I had been rapping and doing shows and doing the podcast. I think I had just started doing the podcast maybe, but so I started doing all this shit, and I started to see a little bit of a path there. I still really didn't have any goals in it, but I started to see like, oh, I'm making money, I'm just doing this. And at first it wasn't even about the money at all, because I didn't need it. So I was just like, fuck yeah, I'm getting booked. Like, I don't even have music out, but everyone else is starting to talk about me. I'm not, like in the very beginning, I was like hitting promoters up, but it was really quick where people just started hitting me up for shows, and it was boom, boom, boom. A lot of them were free, but most of them in the beginning, they were paying me pretty fucking nice. So I was like, fuck it. I just did a fuck ton of shows, and so I started to just kind of get into that. And ultimately, no, I don't think it. I think it was a fucking, I don't know, just a fucking old haggard bitch that had it out for me at the company, and she fucking.
Well, to me, it sounds like obviously all those things needed to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of sent you on this journey, and you were one thing, but I don't know that you were fully like learning about who you really are in that corporate world. You were just doing the money thing. No,
totally not at all.
And when that kind of came crashing down, it's like, well, who the fuck am I?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I've experienced that a few times in my life.
Yeah.
And I would even say like right now in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing that as well. And I noticed something too. And even like me doing my last album, all these things that we were talking about earlier, like, so the one thing, it really like stayed with me. The last time you and I were together was the show we did together, right? And after From the Soul, shout out to Muds and all the East of the River again, a lot of shout out on our freaking podcast, man. Those are my peoples.
What is this? The East of the River podcast?
What is this shit? Fuck those guys. No, but so you and I were hanging out, and they were doing like the dancing. I forgot what they were doing. They were doing something.
The Soul Train at the end.
Was it the Soul Train? I don't know if it was then or if it was somebody else performing, but I just remember you made some sort of comment like we're like the old schoolers up in here right now. Like these are the new young bucks coming in or whatever. And like, honestly, I know you're right, but I don't think that. You know, I just roll where I roll.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I kind of do, like, I'm pretty like easy going, like whatever. Like,
yeah.
I'm here to do my thing. So when you said that, I was like, damn, like, do they be looking at me like that? Like, and I know they do because, you know, they'll call me like Uncle Cookie and all this shit. And like,
but it's more of like a respecting. I was going to say that
totally.
too about how you were like, I don't want to be that old guy rapping, you know?
Yeah.
I certainly don't either. I don't want to be that
I don't
old
think
guy
you'll be an
rapping.
old guy, so that's good. You got one part of that out of there, so you're good.
But I think I think hip hop is evolving in such a way that it's more of an art form.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I feel like it's becoming more and more acceptable to just
It is.
embrace the art form no matter what age. I mean, I think
agree.
Jay-Z is like the perfect example.
Yeah, but Jay-Z's a billionaire. So
Yes.
when you're not, and you're 45 years old and you live in a dusty apartment or whatever,
Yes.
then there's a certain point where you got to go like, I need to figure out like a real plan in this. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And so again, it goes back to goals. It goes back to getting deep within and finding out what your why is. So like at different points in your life, you may have like your why may be the same. It may change, but your tactics have to change.
Yeah.
I have children.
Yeah.
So I had a studio. It became a goddamn crib and a
Playroom.
nursery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So I had to figure out the dream is still in me. The
Right.
hunger's still in me, right?
Right.
But I have a whole new set of pressures and responsibilities.
Yeah.
And how do I fit what I love and how do I make it work and how do I make it pay for my children and how do I do
Yeah.
like I have to figure those things out. So like when you're in a position where you don't have those things or you have less burdens, it's a beautiful thing. So
Right.
us standing there and looking at these dudes that are 21 years old, 22, 23, like that's why I want to transition and speak more and do the things and
Right.
and coach and consult and mentor because I want people to know like this is what I went through and here's where I failed and here's where you don't have to fail now.
Yeah,
Because if you'll just
exactly.
like take a page from my book and like while you don't have kids and while you can just roam the earth and just eat peanuts and that's it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know, I would tell my own kids that like go I don't care if you're homeless, like
Yeah.
shoot your shot, man.
That's why
shoot it.
That's why I really like did that in
Yeah.
my I really like I guess it was definitely like circumstantial and things led to me being homeless, but I could have certainly
I mean, I don't want you to be homeless. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
no.
sometimes
but like
hey,
if
you're
you
going for
embrace if you I
If you
I think
embrace
I had
homelessness,
such like
there's a beautiful tent I have for you, and you will enjoy it. There's a guy named Frank. He makes the best hot dogs.
You know what I
promise
think
you'll
it
be
is more than anything? It's like it's embracing the simplicity of just living and like enjoying just sit like it was always like a thing too when I was on the Crappy Awesome podcast. We would always talk about like Bonnie's always chilling at a park.
Right.
And I was, and it was so fucking like amazing that
you
I
know
could
why?
just
Because
do that.
I live there. I'm just kidding.
You know, I don't have kids. You know, it's
Yeah.
like I'm not tied to anyone. Even if I am in a relationship, I typically do whatever the fuck I want anyway.
Right.
So it's not like anyone's telling me like, oh no, you can't do this or
Right.
whatever. So I had that freedom, and I really just chose to embrace that life because of the fact that like I had a really like crazy childhood, like teen, like I was pretty crazy in my teens, like you know, adolescent. I just ran amok and
I got you.
all kinds of crazy shit, drugs
got
and
you.
alcohol, party life, whatever. And then, you know, but I always worked. I've been working since I was
Yeah.
14. So I kind of always was like in that lifestyle of like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm an adult and I work and I just fucking party on the weekends or whatever it was. But I always worked. And then I actually like, I went through sobriety in my
Yeah.
late teens, and I was just like working. You know, I never fucking took a vacation. Like I
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
always working. And my life, I mean, really with the corporate job, I thought that I was going to like be there forever. Like
Yeah.
my mentor was with that company for 23 years.
She
you
was
know?
probably trying to set you up.
Yeah,
like she was,
there was
yeah.
you know, they're a worldwide company. Like there's
Yeah.
plenty of things that I could have gone on and done. Like, so I was thinking of that. Like I'm just gonna fucking to ride this shit out. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
made it here. Like, I'm going to ride this out. And when that all kind of went to shit, you know, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to do the complete opposite and like experience an entirely different lifestyle than I have the last 10 years of my life. Because I was like, I was living to survive, but I was surviving really comfortably.
Right.
Like at a certain point, the first half of my 20s, I was really, really fucking comfortable.
Right.
Like, and then when I left there, I still was pretty comfortable for a little while after I lost my job because I had a 401k and I had some money.
Damn. Rappers don't even know what you're talking about right now. They're like, did she just start talking German and shit? What?
But you know what? I, like a dumbass, I went like hood rich and fucking cashed that shit out and just like kept living my lifestyle that I was used to. But then I ended up homeless. So I embraced the situation. But you know what? I think that I had through the however long it was like a little bit less than a year maybe that I was rapping and doing shows before I lost my job and all that. And I had just like made a lot of really amazing connections. And by the time I was just like traveling around and rocking shows in different areas, like I always had someone that let me crash on their couch or let me crash on their studio. Like I only like, in reality, I've slept like overnight. Usually I won't, like, if I don't have somewhere to stay, I won't like sleep overnight. I'll stay up all night and then I'll sleep the next day if I have to.
Right,
But usually I had somewhere to stay, but I didn't have my own place to call home for probably like a year or so. I was just like traveling. I got really lucky too. Like I had house sitting gigs at like really amazing houses and stuff like that. So it wasn't like...
So you were finding your way.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward now. So we're here, 2018. It's
2018.
March. Bonnie Blue, somewhat stable again, I guess, what I'm gathering.
Yeah. The boring kind.
Let's bring it. let's bring it back to the question I asked you in the beginning. Where are you going?
Where am I
going with this?
Well, okay, so
or just dream. Where do you want to go? What would you like to see happen for you? For Bonnie Blue?
I would really definitely love to do more like mentoring and workshops eventually. Mm-hmm. And after I released the first album, I have people that come to me for advice on music and like how to, like, it's kind of a weird thing. And it was something that I had to like figure out and go through. 'Cause I was like homeless and fucking struggling and like these kids were hitting me up like, oh my God, you're like totally like, you're doing amazing, you know? And it was like, what really the fuck? Something. Like how, this is so weird, you know? So I think a part of that kind of opened up my eyes to like, no, people do like look up to what I've achieved in different ways. But I have a lot more to do before I can really feel comfortable giving advice to someone.
Well,
and like,
know this, okay? Whatever your age is, whoever's younger than you have something to offer to them.
Yeah.
If you've done something that somebody else has never done, you can tell them about it. You can help them. Yeah. Whatever level a person is at, they always have something to offer. Yeah, like maybe you can't go tell like some businesswoman who runs a Fortune 500 company, or maybe you can. Because we all have something that we can't contribute. So don't ever let that stop you, because it stopped me for a long time. Yeah. I wanted to help people. I wanted to speak and use my voice and not just do music. And I always felt like I needed to achieve a certain level of something before I would feel okay going out and talking about my story or sharing with people the things I was learning. But what I realized is that, all my failures, those are my stories. Those are something that can help people. Yeah. And when I started talking about those things, like I started feeling freer. Like, I can talk about whatever I want because it's my story. If I just tell my story, what the hell? It's going to help somebody. Like I don't have to tell them like, well, here's how you invest in stock market. Fuck, I don't know that shit. Yeah. But what I do know, I can share with you, and I don't need to be 100% done. Now I coach people that are more successful than me. Who cares? They make more money than me. But the fact is I know what I know. Right. And what if it can help somebody, I want to give it, and so I would just encourage you like that too, because, a lot of times we go through what's called imposter syndrome, and I've faced that a lot. It's like, who am I to do that? Who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I to step out? Who am I? Well, who are you not to? Like,
Yeah.
why not? You know.
Well, it's really like it was a bizarre transition too, because I felt really successful, and I was really successful in the corporate world, and I it's weird to say, but I do have a really high IQ. Like I do.
Conceited. Wow.
I know. That's fucked up. But like, you know, I am just like, in a certain way, I'm able to analyze things in a certain way, and I've been able to experience things in my life that only certain people can.
Yeah.
And I know that that's something that I can use to really just like help people go through their life experiences more so than being an artist, because that is something like for me, I can't fucking tell you how to be like being an artist is like that's your own shit, that's your own journey.
Well,
like,
I can. If your verses are whack and you're off beat, I can tell you that. Like,
stop that
listen
shit.
to the fucking snares, yo. Can you rap or what? You know what I'm saying? So I can.
I mean, I could definitely tell you if you're whack.
Yeah.
You know what I would love to do? Oh my God.
What?
Oh,
What?
have I ever told you this, that I have like this fantasy of doing like rap American Idol with you?
With me?
We have to like host it.
That sounds like a good skit.
It is.
Yeah,
we gotta
let's do
it.
What? I'll be the fucking Simon Cowell.
But because you're not
Trash. That shit is trash, fam.
No, see, you're not gonna be that though. I'm gonna be Simon. You
I'm
gotta
gonna be like
you gotta be
listen,
Paula.
I'll be like, oh my God, that's, you know.
Or Randy.
I did like that one word you used. That was a good word.
That would be epic.
So no, the last thing I'll say on that is just, you know, your story is yours. It's unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter where it crosses with other people's stories, it's still your story. It's still unique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just you sharing your story is always going to help people, because there's somebody out there that's where you're at, or maybe they're not where you're at, but they just relate to you. There's something important that you have. You know what I mean? That everyone can benefit from, or a big group of people can benefit from. So you just gotta, if you don't open your mouth, nobody ever knows. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I want to ask you something else now. So you're the first woman on Really Though podcast.
Really though?
Really though. So what I want to know is, I want to hear a little bit about your experience as a woman in hip hop and what it's like being out there. I mean, it's pretty cool out there, especially in our like indie kind of underground world. But
women are killing it.
Really killing it right now.
And really have been since I started. So I've had
you came in with a good group of women.
Right. Like I've definitely had a really, I think, unique experience as a woman in hip hop, because I definitely, like, one of the biggest changes that I noticed in just like hearing is that, like, I definitely remember in the beginning when I first started doing shows, there was a lot of guys like, oh, I don't like female rappers. Like, that was just a thing. And for me, getting like complimented by dudes at shows, it was always like,
dope for a girl.
You're dope for a girl. And it would start off a lot
I don't
with
like female rappers, but you are
exactly that. So I heard
if you could
that.
Just lower your voice tone a little bit, then we'll really fuck with you.
Of course.
Yeah, that was good.
So I definitely heard that a lot in the beginning, or about other females, and you know, that definitely fucking changed. It completely changed to like, damn, they're killing it.
Yeah.
Gender aside,
the women are a non-issue.
Killing it.
It's just, if it's dope music, it's like nobody's like dope for a female,
right?
Which I
and
find
it's really like
it should be.
It should be, and it's like, it's not because the interesting thing to me is that, like, there's no like female artists right now in our community, you know, that is blown up, that's killing it, that really came out with like, I'm a female, so fuck with me because I'm dope because I'm a female.
Yeah, it's just
it was just them telling, or
doing the music.
It was all of us just telling our story and being our vulnerable or raw selves, and within that, like, within a woman's story, there's obviously a lot of different things than you get with
for sure,
especially in hip hop. I feel like, you know, if you're in like theater, for example, like the difference between theater and hip hop and male and female roles and shit. Like in theater, there's vulnerable and emotional male characters in theater.
Yeah.
In hip hop, you don't fucking see that unless
Bullshit. I cried yesterday in a song, okay?
right. But that's rare. And like,
Yeah, you're right.
it might happen, like the personal side of who we are as individuals, like men in hip hop don't share that or use that a lot, you know.
Yeah.
More so kind of throughout history too, it's like they're using the experience of how they're treated as a man, but not in the same way that like a woman would tell
Right.
her story about
Yeah.
her experience. It's just different, but it's both of them are valid and both of them are needed.
Yeah.
Like there's a balance that's needed, not just in hip hop, but really in the world, and understanding and the tolerance that like we all coexist, we all serve a purpose, we all coexist, and we can all make each other better.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so important. That message is so important right now too. I mean, it's such a huge, like, gender is such a huge issue in our culture right now. And there's so much debate going on back and forth, this, that, and the other. We were joking about the Me Too shit earlier.
Yeah.
But that shit is real.
That's so
and,
real.
And the fact that women are now feeling empowered to say, fuck this shit.
Fuck
We're
it,
gonna
I'm
talk
gonna
about it.
it.
We're
I don't
gonna
give a fuck
bring
if
it
you
out.
shame me. Like,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
a crazy part. Like, think about that. Like, women are being shamed because they were assaulted.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird. But
that's
you know,
a
you
fucking
gotta
weird.
You think about the progress though, because we went through a little phase of like no slut shaming,
Right.
and like where women started little by little feeling like okay with like openly being sexual, let's say, or different things.
Yeah.
And so it could easily have led to like, you know what, this motherfucker. And now I'll tell my story because I'm not ashamed of any of it anymore.
Yep.
Actually, have you ever experienced, like, how about in hip hop? Has any shit, Me Too type shit happen to you? Like, or like
Definitely not in my life. Yes, not in hip hop
corporate,
though.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
there was some
definitely.
shit going on. Nothing
Even
in hip hop. Well, let me ask you
nothing-
this: how do male fans approach you? Do they try to get at you? What's up, girl? Like,
No,
Never.
it's very rare.
Interesting.
Like I'm.
You're like, I want them to. Shit, what's up, dude?
No,
I'm just playing,
no.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
I've never, well, not never, but there's been very, very few occasions where I've ever been disrespected by a male in or ever doing hip hop. Like,
That's dope. I mean,
like
that's good.
I'm
to
not.
hear.
I don't know what it is. Maybe I just fucking let you know right off the bat. Don't fuck with
It
me,
could
so
be.
you don't. But yeah, it definitely is not like that in the real world.
Well,
which is weird. Cause
I mean, from what I hear, like girls, like I think us as men are really like even more so than ever understanding like what it must be like because of social media and this and this, just the rampant sending of dick pics everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize like
I do
how
get
many
dick pics, so I guess that's
you
probably
do. That's what
I
I'm
do.
saying.
Okay, I didn't
That
think
is
about that.
amazing to me. That
I didn't
that
think
women
about
just
that.
get mad unsolicited dick pics.
Yeah.
like
It's
who's
fucking
doing
weird.
that?
It's
Who the
fucking
fuck's doing
weird.
that, yo? Like me personally, I need a lot of permission before I'm sending you a dick pic.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
sending you it. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, I will say no. So to me, when females say like, yeah, nah, these motherfuckers send us dick pics all the time. Like I don't
Yeah.
even know these guys. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, check this out. Blah 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 blah. blah. I'm
Yeah.
like, jeez, like what is that?
I didn't think about that. I
But
forgot
that is
about
a
that.
form of like, it's not assault, but it definitely is sort of a
It's
very
invasive. Yeah,
invasive
absolutely.
thing.
Well, okay. Now that you're talking about that, I am thinking about the kind of disrespectful shit that I have dealt with.
It seems to
At
be
shows,
online.
online. It's totally online. At shows, I'm not ever really disrespected like that. Like I've been hit on and told a dude like, I'm good, thank you. I can buy my own drink. Leave me the fuck
yeah.
alone. And then be like, oh, fuck you, bitch. I'm like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
you're right. I am a bitch. Get the fuck out of my face. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
That's just male insecurity,
It's
ego.
very, like I said, it's very few. Like I don't get hit on a lot at shows at all. Like that's not really an experience that I have or really have a lot. But online for sure. I get like constant messages from the same dudes that are like, hey, what's up? And it starts out so fucking nice
And
in
then
the beginning,
dick
like, and then like,
Hey, how's your morning?
either dick. You know what? Most
Hey, beautiful.
random.
Hey, beautiful.
Yeah,
How's your day going?
totally. All of
Dick
that.
pic.
Like no, and I just. You know what? And maybe I need to like learn how to use the block button because I never have. I just don't respond. Like I don't respond, but they'll just keep messaging you. I don't respond. And then they'll start saying like rude shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, fuck you then. And you're like, well, fuck you. Like, I never even talked to you. I don't
That's
even know
so
who the
weird.
fuck you are. Like, get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. Which is part of why, that's probably the one area where it's like, I don't fucking like social media for that. Because it's like, why do you feel... I hate anybody feeling like I owe them my fucking time because I created something that they like.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing when like fan, which is actually short for fanatic.
Right.
When
Right.
people attach to you, and then I can see as a woman, I think it's interesting because the more I hear stories, the more I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And, but you know what? Like I can actually understand on a different level than a lot of guys. And here's why. I've never said this story publicly.
Oh.
But I'm going to tell you this.
Exclusive.
Really don't. Blow. Hashtag me too.
Oh my God.
So, there was a man in the news recently. I'm not going to say his name, but he did have a big show that involved like, I don't know, presidents and governments and things. And, he had a movie that they had to reshoot because of what he did and stuff
Kevin?
like that, right? I'm not saying any names, and I may even delete that name.
Okay.
And so when his allegations came out, I thought to myself, I know those dudes are telling the truth. You want to know why, Bonnie? Because hashtag me too. I can't really get into how I was around that man, but that dude tried to put it on me for at least an hour. I was in a car ride with him, and like it was crazy.
Wow.
Like I'm just trying to, survive it. So at the moment I realized like how it could go down for a woman when she's just trying to like be cool about shit because she just wants to get out of the situation.
Right.
That's what I was. It's like it starts subtle. Hey, what's up? Yeah, what's up? So what's your name? Where you from? Blah, blah, blah. And then you start feeling that energy coming at you, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And then he like leans a little closer. And I'm like, so what are you getting into this weekend? Like, and I'm like, I mean, nothing. It's fucking Thanksgiving. Like, turkey? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to get into on
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving?
To see my mom?
Like, on Thanksgiving. What are we doing? And this is what he says. Like, there was a lot more stuff that happened, right? But literally, he goes, so this weekend you're going to be a good boy or you're going to be a bad boy? And I'm like, I mean, like at Thanksgiving, I'm probably, I'm just going to be good, man. Like, I don't know.
God.
And like, there was more
How
into
old
it.
are you?
How old when this was happening? This was got to be like probably almost 10 years ago now, right?
Wow.
So I'm just like, I'm young, and I'm like, I get it to a degree, right? And I'm telling you, it was much thicker than just like, it just kept getting more and more like open and more and more hard.
Yeah.
Like when the time together was getting closer to the end, like he's trying harder and harder to close the deal. I'm like, dude, well, first I'm not gay, so that part. That part.
That part. Hashtag
that part. But even if I was like, dude, like I'm just trying to, go to Thanksgiving, man. It's Thanksgiving weekend, bro. We're not doing this. This is not happening. So when all this Me Too stuff started coming out, when I saw that, I was like, well, I know those dudes are telling the truth. I don't know about everybody else, but I believe them. But I know this one is true because it literally happened to me from that man.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
So on that level, I can really understand what a woman goes through. But I can't fully understand. You know why? Because if I needed to, I could have knocked this motherfucker out.
Well,
You know
that's what I
mean?
was thinking is that like that's the biggest
And that's the
difference. And
difference.
that's the scariest part is that like we literally have to deal like I've kind of known, I've just always I don't know what it is, which is weird because I totally grew up without my father, but my mom just kind of always instilled in me, like, just to be a strong woman and, like, don't
That's
take
good.
no shit. And I really, like, I never did, you know, and I always had, like, really great, I definitely drank a shit ton and, like, was a blackout drunk in high school, but I always had, like, really good friends around me that would just fucking take care of me.
That's
but
good.
I can
'Cause
only,
I've seen
like, I can only
that go
imagine, I
bad.
mean, and I have seen and obviously heard of shit that would happen to other girls, and I have been really, really, really lucky in that way. But I definitely have had experiences with guys older, you know, my bosses or men in positions of power over me in private settings, and me
It's weird.
definitely feeling, but I was like, I'm not, like, scared of being violent. That's kind of weird to say, but, like, I'm not scared of defending myself. I'm not scared to kill someone if they're trying to fuck with me. Like,
If you have to,
If I have to, like,
Disclaimer.
I'm
not scared. I'll be out in the streets killing motherfuckers on the daily. I killed somebody right before we got here.
That sounded crazy, but
I will cut a motherfucker.
But, like, I just mean to say, like, the
I know what you mean.
situations that I've had where I started to feel like, oh fuck, like, this could turn violent because this person isn't letting up, and they're starting to show rage towards me because I'm denying them. Right. Like, what you know, what am I gonna do with that? So my mind immediately is like, fuck, I'm gonna have to defend myself or whatever the fuck. But it's fucking scary, and it's creepy, and it's weird. Like, even a couple years ago, I was working this day job, and this is so weird because it was simply like a conversation, but this is like the most uncomfortable, somehow dealing with people actually trying to come on to me and having to deal with that situation was not as bad as this. But I was working at this fucking day job. It was a small office. There's like 3 guys and there's like 7 employees total. Yeah. And we all, like, have lunch in the fucking break room together. And it's me and the other girl that works there and 2 of the guys. And for some fucking reason, one of the guys feels like it's like a fucking, I don't know, just a fucking topic of discussion for the day to bring up that, like, there's some dude that's trying to legalize rape somewhere. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I didn't hear about that.
I don't know.
Stupid.
So, some shit like that.
It can't even be real.
So he brings that up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so there's some dude that's like trying to legalize rape."
You guys down with that? So, because if so, we could do this right now. Like what?
Like
what?
Like, we're at work. Like, what? And then, you know, the other dude is like, his first comment is, "Well, girls need to learn how to dress."
Well, here we go.
Like, that's the literally, and then, like, the conversation continued. I went fucking silent because I was like, this is like too much. Like, I can't even, like, deal with this kind of person and this kind of conversation at work. Like, we're at work the whole time. I'm just thinking, like, this is so fucking inappropriate and disrespectful. Like, and the girl, she starts, like, going in on it, and they're obviously not trying to hear any perspective of a woman. They're just, like, continuing to go about, like, oh, women fucking falsely accuse men of rape all the time, and, like, women blow things out of proportion and all. Like, that was their side of it.
That's what the guys were saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
The girl was like, you have no idea. Like, how can you, like, it's not about what a woman is wearing. And, you know, so she just went into it, and I was like, I can't fucking believe that, like, there's just, you know, it was one of those moments because it's like, after, like, just living an artist life and then going back into, like, the regular world, working a day job, it was one of those fucking moments where I was like, oh yeah, like, there's a bunch of, like, really fucking weird ass creepy people in the world. Like, that still goes on because I get, like, I get totally like mystified and lost in the world of an artist and like the artist community, because there's just really like I feel like most of the people, like if you're an artist, you're on like this path of discovery. You're trying to understand things in the world. You're trying to like understand other cultures. You're trying to be, you know, self-aware. You're trying to be aware of things that are going on in the world and humanity. So like when you're in that space, it's a hell of a lot different than being in just like this regular fucking day job with these two
dudes trying to fucking
like
legalize rape, right?
like that.
It's your fault.
Yeah.
See, that's where I messed up with Kevin. See, like I think it was my fault because it was them. I was wearing those Daisy Dukes. So, and I had a really tight thong on.
Well, you know what? I also find really like I know.
I had no panties on.
I never do. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I did that.
Over on the wall
I know they're over on the wall at East of the River.
East of the River.
No, you know what I find really fascinating actually is like, well, not that rape culture is fascinating, but like America is really different in
really
that.
Rapey.
They're really rapey. Like there's no other way to say that. Like there is the whole culture of like men or young boy, not young boys, but young men, like literally talking about taking advantage of a girl when she's really fucking drunk, and that's like a thing that they do. That's like normal.
Well, they try to get them
quote
drunk
unquote
so they could do that,
right? And it's not like in Europe, they like embrace sexuality,
right?
You know, and I just feel like it's such a double-edged sword. It's like we try to like pretend that we're conservative in America and like try to say that like being really sexualized is bad, but literally our entire society is based on things being sexualized and being glamorized, especially women. Yeah. And it's like no matter what, as a woman, if you're too sexual, you're getting shit on. If you're not sexual, you're getting shit on. So there's no win-win, but I think that like the middle ground is just women taking control of what they do in their lives and really being capable of accomplishing a lot of things and not just sitting back and waiting to be taken care of. I think that's a big like change and shift in gender roles that we've experienced over the last couple decades, really. And that's made a big change because there's no way that a man can treat women the same way that they did 30 years ago. There's no way you can... The
workplace and the what the women have been able to achieve, that's well established now. And now that there is this movement and it is so public and so like, if you even like hint at something like, even if you aren't going to catch charges or something, the court of public opinion is going to judge you so hard that it's causing those type of men to have to fall in line or fall back or do something because, and I think it's good. It's going to take a while to get the balance, to get it right. Because that's what happens. Sometimes pendulum swings. Right. Sometimes women, or like not women, but like people on whatever side of the argument, like when they start winning, it gets a little too crazy. Like, yeah, motherfucker, right? Woman, fuck you. And then guys are like, you know what, fuck you. Right. And then eventually it starts getting back into the middle. And,
I totally think that's what we've experienced. Even like on a smaller scale in hip hop, I kind of feel like that's what's happened. Like there totally has this been like fuck bitches, like fuck this, blah blah blah. But then there's still a side of it where men will praise women and queens, and there's that whole side of it. No, women give us life. Like women make everything better. They, So there's always like two sides to it.
Yeah, I think what it's going to boil down to is human beings, humans. Like it doesn't matter what part you got. What you are. What matters is we are all humans. Whatever shape, form, or fashion we come in, we're all humans. And like I think it sounds cheesy and hippie or whatever, but like
I'm a total hippie,
love truly has to be the thing that drives whatever it is we're doing as a species, not just a culture, but as a species, as being able to think
And we're so unfortunately far from that because our entire history is based on
And I understand
not that.
like some raw shit had to happen to get us to where we're at. You
Right,
know what I mean? And
right.
sometimes there are some necessary things, but at the end of the day, we have to find a way to. I think when you truly love people,
Mm-hmm.
then you find a way to empathize with their plight. You find a way to put yourself in their shoes. At the very least, you find a way to try to, like, if you can't understand what they're going through, at least find a way to allow them to feel that or to go
Right.
through that and
Right.
to not try to take it away from them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Male, female, and everything in between, right? And look what I just said. That's like a fucking very hard thing to achieve. Individually,
Yeah.
people can achieve it, but as all the humanity, it's very difficult. But like,
Are you a little bit are you at all conspiracy theoristy?
yes,
Do you believe that we're there's powers that be that
that's for another
Definitely.
podcast.
I know we've been going tough.
Yeah, me and Kelsey Ray
yeah.
have talked about putting
Yeah.
a conspiracy podcast out because we did one episode together and it was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, we're talking about some shit right now.
Yeah.
But you can say your point. I was just joking.
No, I was just gonna say just the idea that there's powers that be that their goal is to divide because that really in the end makes them more powerful.
I think there's some truth to that. I think it boils down to power and usually money and different things.
Mm-hmm.
But let's bring it back to a positive note before we get out of here. Now, you're working on new music.
Yes.
You're the beautiful, lovely, talented, strong, independent woman who's not afraid to live homeless.
Bam.
And is not afraid to climb corporate ladders and fuck shit up when she's got to. Right?
Yes.
You got a lot going for you. You're working out some of those goals and shit.
Yes, I am.
And you're going to land on your 2 feet and explode
Yes.
into the solar system. I believe that. You have a great charisma and aura about you. The second you showed up, the dogs flocked to you here. Everyone, you're just there. It radiates from you. So you need to take that and harness it and use it and go shine that light
Harness
into
the light.
the world.
Yes. I'm working on that.
So right now, to all the people that are listening, like artists or not artists or whatever, like if there was like 1 or 2 things that you could just say to them, like whether it's advice, you talked about being afraid. Let's share something right now. I want you to just do it right now. This is my show. It's not yours, so you don't got to worry about it. I'll take full responsibility for it. What would you share with the people right now? Like what do you think is important for people to do, or whatever you want, whatever's in your heart that you'd want to share? Don't be afraid to be homeless.
Don't be afraid to be homeless. Don't be afraid to fail. My
Yeah.
greatest, I think, in retrospect, always in retrospect, you know what? That's probably the biggest thing is if you ever feel like you're at your end and you don't want to go on, give yourself the time to see that moment in retrospect because it's usually a really, really beautiful thing that can come out of it.
Bam. That's beautiful.
I'm still teaching myself that too.
Let me tell you what I say. And this is also what helped me get over the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I like to learn and turn.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I just learned it yesterday, I'm willing to turn right around and share it with the person next to me,
Yes.
behind me, above me, anywhere.
Yes.
I learn and then I turn right to the next person.
I like that.
So-
hashtag learn and turn.
Shit, man. Don't try to jack me out there. That's my phrase. Copyright Cookbook 2018.
Copyright infringement.
You don't infringe my copyrights.
Learn and turn.
Last thing I'll say, bitches be tripping, huh?
Bitches be
Just kidding.
tripping.
After all that positivity.
I know.
Man,
I
these
left
bitches be
out
tripping.
the secret lesbian relationship I was in.
The secret? Well, it's not a secret anymore.
It's not.
Was it a secret before?
It was.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I know what you saying when you say bitches be tripping.
Yeah, you're like, because I can relate to that side of it too. And then one last question before we get out of here. And this possibly is the most important question of the podcast.
Oh, God.
Okay? You ready?
What? You're going to ask me what my why is?
No.
Okay, good.
So, this is my show. I've been doing it for a while. I ask this question every single time. Okay? Really though?
Really though?
Is that your answer?
Yes.
Yes, that's the right answer. The question is really though, and the answer usually is really though. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Bonnie Blue. I'm CookBook. Tell them where they can find you.
Love you. Thank you. You can find me roaming.
You can find me in various parks, living on the street.
Roaming the streets.
You ain't going to
all
find
over
no
this
pictures of
fucking
me
planet.
because I erased all the pictures off my Instagram.
You know where you can find me?
Where?
Dicktoyourdoor.com.
Oh, what? Just send me dick pics. You'll find me.
I swear. www.dicktoyourdoor.com.
What is that? Are you fucking serious? What the fuck is that? Sounds like a porn site. What are you talking about right now? I'm expecting like Instagram ad Bonita. Like, what the fuck?
Okay.
What?
So, I bought this domain, and I just have it linked to my Instagram. So, if you...
Oh my god. So it'll be in the show notes. www.dicktoyourdoor, and you wonder why you're getting dick pics. Really though?
Nobody really knows
Really
that.
though.
Yes.
That's hilarious. And you guys know you can find me at CookBook the PR. Holla at me. I talk to everyone all the time.
Everyone.
My wife says I'm on the phone way too much. But that's what we do, man. Got to communicate with my
You still use a phone
people.
with a cord at home, huh?
I'm on the landline. Every day.
Landline, a cord with a phone.
That's it, man. I be sending Instagram posts from my
I don't even know what the fuck
landline.
that shit's called anymore. Oh yeah, it's a landline. That makes sense.
All right, y'all. We out of here. Peace.